Yes, it is. Happy Monday. Monday. You can trust that day. Nice to have you here, everybody. Put on one of these today. Well, yeah, just take a moment. Just put one on. It's not that terrible. No bad days. Only bad moments in the days. Although some days there's a whole bunch of bad moments, I guess, right? Let's be honest. All right. Nice to have you here. What a great weekend. Jennifer and I got out on the motorcycles, had a nice ride. A little chillier later, but we were dressed warm. I was happy that we we took the time to go out to Bad Dog Bar and Grill in Corunna on Sunday because there's a motorcycle group known as Backup Bikers Against Child Abuse were there and had a nice conversation. They come down from Windsor, they're Windsor chapter. And they do a lot of great things in the community. So it was nice to be down there. We were glad to be able to there and give them some support. And again, the nice conversations. And then we carried on. I had the Mandarin salad, by the way, at Bad Dog. Mwah, well done. And the staff there is always friendly and welcoming. Never disappointed in the food there at either location. So thank you to Bad Dog Bar and Grill. And just another way that Bad Dog Bar and Grill gives their support out in the community, supporting local organizations. So good time for that. Today's pre-recorded. I got a busy schedule going on today, but you can still say hello in the comments. I will respond to them. Eventually I'll get back to you. And, if there's something you're looking to do, it's not all on the show. We can't do it all here. But the Tourism Sarnia-Lambton works hard at creating events. There's a very special event coming up in December. If you haven't heard about it yet, go to their website there on the screen, and maybe we should get Mark Perrin here to talk about it. A really fun and exciting event happening at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena, and you're going to want to get tickets for it really, really fast because they're going to go. They're already going. Get to it. Go to the website and go to my website after that and join the mailing list so you get some updates about once a month about what's happening with the show and other events that you won't see here on the show as well, right? And of course, please subscribe, follow, all that stuff everywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me get closer to 1,000. I can't seem to get there. It goes up and then it comes down. But anyway, things are still good. So again, happy Monday. And thanks to all of you for watching. I got to say thank you to my sponsors, and a brand new sponsor come on board. Bluewater Power supports the show. Thank you to Bluewater Power, group of companies, Janice McMichael Dennis and all the staff and crew that make up Bluewater Power give so much back into our community. So thank you for their support. Joe's Discount Tire, they've been supporting us for several years now. And of course, for 10 and a half years, AG Event Graphics, which is part of the Huron Signs, is a part of the AG Event Graphics group of companies. So thank you, Guy, for all that you do for us here on the show. And take a moment and visit these folks online to learn more about what they are, what they do, and you'll see more about what they do in our community as well. This one is, I'm really pleased to talk about this, and I'm sorry I couldn't have her here today, but Joan Spalding is going to be celebrating 50 years of music. That's right. The First Lady of Bluewater Country, as she's known, Joan Spalding, will celebrate her 50 years of music Saturday, October the 22nd at the Wyoming Legion. And there's going to be music, of course, and dancing. And there's always some stories that go on. So Joan says the dance and the story start at 7 p.m. Now, tickets are $5 at the door, with all proceeds going to St. Joseph's Hospice. So you can get out and support Joan and celebrate with Joan, and then support St. Joseph's Hospice as well. $5. And there's going to be other music and fun. And apparently there's going to be some special guests out there. I don't know exactly who it is. I got to tell you, Joan, super proud of you. So many people are. Of course, Joan did through the pandemic, I forget how many hundreds of days. And she just kept a smile on people's faces through the pandemic. And she's been making people smile with her music now for 50 years. Wow. What a milestone for you, Joan. Congratulations. I'm so sorry that I can't be there, but we'll have to connect in person now that we can very shortly after that event. I would love to see you in person. And we always love our chats when Joan and I get together. We have some good chats. So congratulations again, Joan. And get out there. Once again, help her celebrate 50 years of music. Wow. Okay. Good stuff. That's a long time. Good for you, Joan. All right. Coming up as well, we're also going to have, I think coming up next week. Yeah, we're going to talk about, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll tell you about it later. I'm teasing now, right? Let's talk about the Sarnia Sting, though. They got off to a great start this season, and then they would run into some trouble, but they did beat the Owen Sound Attack last week. Wow. A tough team to beat, but they pulled it off with a final score of 3-2. And then they would go on. Windsor would come into the house of the Sarnia Sting and really give them a hard time. It was a big struggle. They managed to get some goals into the third period, but it was just coming up short too late. Final score there, 6-3. And then yesterday they went down to Mississauga and came out strong in the first and second period, but just were not able to close the deal, and Mississauga would win over the Sting, a final score there of 3-2. More hockey coming up this week. You can follow all along the line of what's going on with the Sting at sarniasting.com. And, of course, watch my live broadcasts, and my friend Jay Peckham likes to join me. I can't get rid of the guy. I don't know what to do. I'm just kidding. We have a lot of fun there live from the concourse. And listen, if you'd like to be on my show at one of the Sarnia Sting, if you're a fan of the Sarnia Sting and you'd like to join me as a co-host and jump in and give us your thoughts on the game, come to the game. I'll get you tickets to the game to watch, and then you can come on and co-host with me and talk about your Sarnia Sting. And thanks to Jake Borey and Bill and everybody down there at the Sarnia Sting. You know, there is a team behind the hockey team that makes the in-game experience and everything come together. They're great community supporters, and they just deserve a really big shout out. And I'm really proud to be one of the partners with the Sarnia Sting. Now, speaking of partners, looks like the Halloween is almost here. It's coming up on October the 29th. It's October the 29th. I can't, what was that guy's name? He did the Vincent Price, right? And he did that narrating thing at the end of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Okay, I'm dating myself. But the Sarnia Street Cruisers are going to be having their trunk or treat. They had it last year, and they had to go bigger. So they went out to Hiawatha, and the Sarnia Street Cruisers trunk or treat, of course, they're going to have candy, but they're going to have, like, it looks like R2-D2's there. They're going to have some Star Wars characters. They're going to have some ghosts and goblins walking around, and there's going to be some music. It's going to be a lot of fun. But there is a catch. If you're coming out there, you've got to bring a canned food donation, or bring multiple canned food donations if you want. Of course, all going to the Inn of the Good Shepherd. Kids 12 and under are who the parents can bring in. You know, it's not for the big kids, it's for the little kids. But they'll be wanting to get out there, get in line early. It goes from 4 till 6 p.m. on October the 29th at Hiawatha Horse Park. And we might have some special spooky guests here next week to talk more about that. All right. Well, music. I've always loved music. Who doesn't like great music? But when we hear classical music, do we kind of think like, oh, it's stiffy or just not for me? Pay close attention here. My next guest is going to talk to us from the Bluewater Chamber Players. And listen closely to what they're preparing, and you're going to want to get tickets for this. Barbara Armstrong joins me. Take a look. Music is wonderful, and there's so much talent here in Sarnia, and now I'm really excited to know, we've got a great performance coming up here by the Bluewater Chamber Players, and Barbara Armstrong is a part of that, joining me here today. Thanks for being here, Barbara.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
You're welcome. This is exciting because I know, like, you had a successful season sort of last year with that other stuff that was going on in our life, but you made it work anyway. So, but now you're back stronger than ever. But tell everybody what the Bluewater Chamber Players is all about.
Well, the Bluewater Chamber Players started last year, right smack bang in the middle of COVID, when we really didn't know if we could have a season because things were closed.
Yeah.
Concerts weren't happening. The arts in general was just a big mess, really. And we just decided to try one concert. It turned into 4 and almost sold out for every performance, COVID style. So we had an awful lot of hoops to jump through as far as having, tracking of audience. Everything had to be pre-sold. It was kind of learning as we went, but it was very successful. People were thrilled to come to concerts again. And so this year we decided to launch a full 5 concert season, starting in October. And the 5 of us have known each other for many, many years in various capacities. Tessa and I have known each other for 30 plus years. Caitlin, I've known since she was a very young girl. Jackie's been a good friend of mine from London, and Dan I've worked with in the school system when I was a principal with the Catholic School Board. So that's how we sort of got together. We've played together in other capacities, and it just made sense to put the 5 of us together.
Yeah. So everybody, can you go through all the instruments that we're going to hear?
Yes. So Tessa plays flute, and Caitlin and Jackie are both on violin, and Dan is piano, and myself on cello. Yeah.
And that's just I'm really hoping I can get there to this. You know, I got to tell you, I'm excited because it's just an amazing sound that you can put together with those instruments. And I know you're all well experienced, and you got to be excited to be doing this again.
Well, we are, and it's, you know, we're classically trained musicians, but there's a variety that we try to put into each concert because everybody is not necessarily classical music fans. So we have a bit of everything for various tastes, and that's the important piece. You know, we're all comfortable with classical music, but equally comfortable in, you know, Celtic music or pops, and just we try to put something in there to entice everybody. Each concert has kind of a theme. So at Christmas, the next show after this one would be some Christmas theme with, you know, some Christmas traditional music, just so we're trying to draw a bigger audience and to have more people come out that maybe haven't had a chance. I think there's a misconception about a classical group that we're a stuffy group that just play from dead people.
Boring, you know, that's right. Yeah.
That's not us at all. We have a lot of fun because if we're not having fun, then we shouldn't be there.
Yeah. So I would, just to go back to the music titles, I guess, again for a second. So I would recognize, if I'm not into classical music, I'm going to probably recognize some music in there that's from today or recent. Yeah.
Oh, we have, for example, this concert coming up, we start out with a Haydn, piece of a Haydn symphony, a couple of movements from a Haydn symphony. We have some Arturo Marquez. We have some Beatles tune. We have some Shostakovich waltzes. But again, I think the misconception that all classical music is similar, and it's not. There's a huge breadth of music there.
Yeah.
It's not all the same. Classical music isn't just Mozart. Right.
Well, and I think, you know, it's interesting you mentioned the Beatles in there because they actually did use a lot of orchestra type, you know, instruments. I mean, a lot of big rock bands really got into that. Queen, to name a few, right? You know, so it must be hard for you, though, to decide what to leave out. I mean, as far as a music selection goes, do you have a hard time? Do you argue over what gets to stay?
Well, I wouldn't say argue, but we have 2 people mainly that are 2 or 3 of the group basically work on music. I've been so busy with the organizational part and the tickets and the publicity and trying to get all that organized. So I'm happy to just sit and do that part. We weigh in, all of us, you know, a program gets decided and people weigh in and say, well, what about this? Let's try that as a possibility. Try to kind of stay within a kind of a theme. Some pieces fit better into a Christmas performance than into, like, for example, in April, we have kind of a movie and musical theme.
Oh, nice.
So we add pieces that fit into that. We also try to feature the individual musicians, whether that be a solo or with piano, or in a smaller group within the group of 5. We try to start and end the program with the 5 of us because we are the group of 5. But doesn't mean we can't have a trio or a duo or solo in there as well.
And the Sarnia Public Library, what a great place to have a show. It's nice to see more and more of that place getting used because I thought for many years it was really not utilized enough. But it's got a nice sound in that room and it carries well, and the seats are comfortable. Do you expect our tickets already going well for the next one on October 23rd?
They are. I think Sarnia is a very last-minute town. People tend to wait till the last.
I hear that all the time. It's true.
It's a little stressful because we are trying to sell the performance. We've certainly done an awful lot of publicity and in the paper. I update Facebook page regularly. But the bookkeeper has been fabulous. They sell our tickets, and they said,
great.
people are already coming in asking about Christmas. So that's hopeful that they're asking for Christmas tickets already. And then we will have them at the door as well on October, but also the Christmas concert tickets will be available there as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so come to the one on October 23rd, and while you're there, why not get your tickets for December? And then you're going right into February, April, and June already. Like you've got big plans. Can you go a little further ahead beyond Christmas and give us an idea of the themes? I know you mentioned one was like movies.
We have movie. In February we try to have a little bit more. I hate maybe use the word Valentine's Day. Kind of put in a few more lighter love theme kind of music. Oh, nice. We try to have big variety because I know there's a whole group of audience that wouldn't come out to a concert if they thought we were just classical musicians. And some are, that's all they would come out to. So on the last concert, for example, in June, we have the Irish School of Dance coming out. We have Falche group. Two of our members are actually in that group. And we have a very big treat. We have a Canadian composer by the name of Anne Lauber from Montreal who has actually written a cello concerto for me.
Oh, and nice.
It was originally programmed, but COVID got in the way. And so she's rewritten it for our group. So she's coming June 11th for that particular performance. That's going to be an action-packed, busy performance, lots of variety. She's going to be coming for the premiere of the cello concerto that I'm frantically working on.
That's exciting. That is exciting, right? That someone did that. And now these performances are 2:30 in the afternoon, and they're all Sundays.
Yes, they're all Sundays, and we figured there's so much going on in Sarnia that is evening, weekend or evenings, and Sunday afternoons seems to have worked really quite well for people to come out. There are also elderly people maybe that don't want to drive at night or come out in the evening. So the afternoon, they can come to a concert, they can go out for dinner. Sarnia has so much to offer, and we want to know that. We have so much here. We have great restaurants, we have great musicians, local musicians, and they are the ones that need to be featured. For example, in December, we're also now collaborating with the Norman Alex Art Gallery. Oh. And we're performing there December the 2nd. We haven't quite worked out all the ins and outs of that, but art and music goes together really well. And I don't know if you can see the painting in the background. That's Peg Keeby's artwork.
Okay.
And my house is basically a satellite gallery of Peg Keeby's. She's my best friend, and we've worked together for years. And last year we also had an art show of hers at the Lawrence House with our music at the same time. So it complements itself extremely well. The other thing we have that's a little bit newer this year, we've added quite a bit of Indigenous music, Canadian composers such as Elizabeth Knutson for this concert. She's a cellist in the West, and we're playing a piece of hers. We also have Red Dog George playing Indigenous flute with us, I believe, in the new year. So we're trying to really open it up to get more audience from different walks of life to come and perform.
Well, like you say, there is a bit of that label there that it's classical music, And what about the younger generation? Are they attracted to this, or are you trying to reach out to them?
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. We have last year was kind of the trial round, trying to figure out how this was all going to work. We were actually quite amazed that we had more than one concert. And we never knew if there was going to be one because things would shut down and open up and shut down and open up. So, so the fact that we have 5 this year is helpful. And we're already, of course, looking forward to the following season because you have to book soloists and trying to book. Right. We add musicians as needed. So for this concert, we have a violinist from London joining us as well because we need somebody on viola. So we add different musicians in as the music requires. Yeah. Whether that will grow later on to a bigger group at this point is not quite known. Yeah.
I do, just back to the Sunday thing again, though. I do really like that you've made that choice because Jennifer and I were just talking. We were like, well, what are we going to do this weekend? Because, we got nothing on a Sunday. And sometimes we do, but then it's like, what are we going to do? Now we can go down to the Sarnia Public Library and listen to the Bluewater Chamber Players. And I'm looking forward to the experience because it's it's something different. I am typically that night guy that likes to go and see the bands and the other entertainment, but it is nice to kind of relax on and have some fun on a Sunday afternoon without having to worry about the nighttime sort of thing. So
we don't have to travel anywhere. I really think it's important that we do showcase Sarnia. We have amazing local talent here. We have Blake Stevenson on clarinet joining us for this concert, and one of his own pieces actually that he's written. He's performing that. But we're also really versatile instruments. As you said, strings are in everything. If you listen to TV, watch a movie, there are strings.
And couldn't watch a movie
orchestral
without
instruments
it,
in the background. Exactly. So we are very versatile instrumentalists. It doesn't mean, we may have been trained classically, but that doesn't mean that we can't be equally comfortable in something else. Yeah. And I know Tessa plays in the Falche group, and it's Celtic, and Caitlin plays, and Caitlin, I believe. They play in that type of music more than I do. And Dan, of course, as a music teacher, he runs a lot of musicals in the schools, musical theater, that kind of thing. We also have Miranda Carlis joining us, an amazing vocalist at the December concert. She used to sing on cruise ships. So, she's got all kinds of wealth of musical experience that just adds flavor to our group.
Yeah. What about humor? We're going to have is there going to be some humor? Is there any talking going on in this, or is it just come and watch you play?
Well, I think we're sort of, because, and I hate to say the word that we're classically trained musicians, so we're a little on the stuffy side. That's not true. It's just, I think we're so used to being on a stage where we're playing symphonic music or, a classical quartet or that thing. But at the last concert, we did have a little fun. And I think as the audience, they may not be used to having us do that either. They're seeing us in black, and they're used to us in other performances that it is more serious. And so I think that's kind of a new little part for us as well, to kind of lighten up and show that we're not, like, for example, we played a piece with I used my blue carbon cello. I have a carbon cello that I purchased 2 years ago from a builder in London. And I use it for weddings because it's an outdoor instrument. I don't take the good instrument out. We're very persnickety about our instruments. We don't want to take them outside. So I have a blue carbon cello. So I put on a ball cap, and I had my blue cello out and performed, and we had a little fun with that. And people not used to seeing us like that either. But that doesn't mean we can't or shouldn't make it lighter. I think it'll evolve over the next year, and as we do more of this.
So I don't have to wear my tie to come see the Bluewater Chamber Players. I come in my sweatpants and a t-shirt, and I'll be all right.
Yeah, you know what? We'll still show up in black. We may not be quite as formal, but we do tend to be comfortable in black. It's also easy to just put on some black and off you go.
Yeah, right. So where can we get tickets? Can you get them online, or is it somewhere local we can pick them up?
Bookkeeper. The Bookkeeper has all our tickets, and they will be our ticket outlet for the whole year. We don't have the online capability at this point. That these are all things that we're looking at the future. We're a small group. We sort of evolved over the last year. It just, I think every year is going to be slightly different as we learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Come up with maybe, we're relying on people to help us with sponsorship. So if you look at the sponsors, I mean,
there's quite a few there.
Bayview Chrysler has been fabulous. They've sponsored us for 2 years in a row now. And so we have a few new ones this year at K&E, Sand and Gravel. BM Ross, we have Texar. We have a few newer ones that have donated, and that helps us pay our overhead because we're basically operating on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, go to the Bookkeeper. Why not go to the Bookkeeper? They got tons of books there. They're so and they like supporting local and giving back into the community as well. So and that gets you off your couch. You go down to the Bookkeeper and pick up your tickets down there and get ready to enjoy some music. The next one coming up on October the 23rd. And I'm looking forward to Christmas and the other ones as well. I'm going to have to head down to the Bookkeeper and get myself some tickets so Jennifer and I can enjoy that. She likes that kind of stuff too. She used to play trumpet and stuff, so she's kind of into that.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, and I'm really excited to hear the eclectic style, I guess I could say, of the Bluewater Chamber Players. Sorry, you had something else you wanted to add?
I think people are sometimes usually quite pleasantly surprised when they do hear 5 players, and they know us from so many different areas of the world, and then putting us all together. People are pleasantly surprised. We've had nothing but positive comments of people coming out saying, wow, what a great concert. People want seasons tickets. Unfortunately, we're not set up to be able to do that right now because of all the tracking involved in that. But
sure, yeah.
Something new that we're looking at. So, but what we're planning now is to always have the tickets for the next concert at
a concert
before it. So
that works.
We can get them ahead of time.
Keep it simple, I always say anyway, right?
Yep.
Right on. Barbara, thank you so much for your time here today. And I mean, I want to say I'm excited to be able to get down and enjoy your performances together and moving forward. Yeah, there's a lot of concerts coming up. And folks, you can get your tickets, as we said, down at the Bookkeeper. The next performance is coming up on October the 23rd at the Sarnia Public Library at 2:30 in the afternoon. Go get your tickets. Don't wait last minute, Sarnia. Come on, let's go. All right, Barbara, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, David.
Barbara, thank you so much for joining me, and looking forward to seeing the Bluewater Chamber Players. And what a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Say it right, David. Sunday afternoon with some great live entertainment during the day. You don't have to stay out late. The description and where you can get all the tickets and all the information will be posted on our Facebook page after the show today. Thanks again, Barbara, for giving me your time. All right. Well, it's always a pleasure. My friend Dave Brown from United Way of Sarnia-Lambton here to give us an update. It's time, folks. I'm always looking for a new introduction for this guy. It's our month. It seems like it was already 4 weeks ago you were here. Dave Brown from United Way of Sarnia-Lambton. Thanks for coming back.
Good afternoon, David. As you know, it's always a pleasure for me to join you on the show.
Well, thanks. I appreciate those kind words. And let's jump right into it. The first thing we want to talk about that happened late September was back in person with Day of Caring. How was that?
It was excellent. We scaled the Day of Caring down a little bit this year from 2019 and earlier. In those days, we'd have over 200, close to 250 volunteers coming out, working at a number of job sites throughout Sarnia-Lambton. Yeah. This year, we kept it to about 150 people, so we reduced it by about a third. Still did some great work around the community. What you see on the screen there, a couple of guys who were at the Salvation Army on September the 20th when we held the Day of Caring, helping to unpack some food, organize food, making sure everything was pre-dated and whatnot. And then you see a group there helping a group home for community living, just standing down their deck, making sure that it's properly maintained, no dry rot, that kind of thing. And that's just an example of, and here we've got some work we've done at River City Vineyard. You see in the first slide there, Lynn and Greg Finley, who are board members of the United Way, and then a representative from the Inbridge, it's Denise. They're wiping stuff down for the shelter expansion at River City Vineyard. So that they can accommodate not only more men, but also women for the first time at the vineyard. So we're pleased to be able to, we provided funding in previous years for that expansion. Now we're able to provide some folks to help clean up and get ready for the cold winter season, so that both men and women have got a safe place to go.
And a shout out to River City Vineyard, because I know they worked really hard at doing their own fundraising to be able to achieve this goal, and then some help from United Way Sarnia-Lambton's just enhancing that fundraising.
Absolutely. They do some great work there, and we're really proud of our affiliation with River City, both in our funding in previous years and perhaps again going forward, as well as other supports that we've provided them throughout the years.
Yeah. Well, just another example of how the United Way is able to have an impact on our community here in Lambton County. And I know this Day of Caring is very personal to a lot of the volunteers that come out. They take the day off work to help. And did I hear a rumor that even beyond the Day of Caring, there was still some volunteers that continued the next few days to go out to get the job done?
Absolutely. I mean, Dave, with home ownership, sometimes you get into a job and you think it's an afternoon job or one day job, and one thing leads to another and leads to another. Or you start, you're motivated and you think, what, this job needs to be done too. Well, we've been blessed to have so many great volunteers that realize that they can't get the job done, or maybe all that needs to be done in one day. So a lot of them decide to come back on a Saturday or evenings to finish up getting those jobs done. And they can be done at either agencies or at the homes of people with disabilities or seniors that need work done to provide that preventative maintenance, but maybe can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of seniors who are house poor. They don't have much income coming in. They're fortunate to have been willed their house from a parent or maybe from a spouse, and that's all their assets. So if we can help them maintain their houses through the Day of Caring and through our work with Habitat for Humanity, enabling them to stay there for as long as they can, then they're going to be housed, they're not going to be homeless, and they're going to be safe, and they're going to have that quality of living in their own homes.
Yeah, and there's a social aspect to it too, that somebody's coming to my home and maybe I'm making them some tea or some sandwich while you're here, thanking them for their efforts, and then just that interaction really kind of touches on the mental health side of things, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. In fact, there's one of the requirements of the homes of the seniors and the disabled is they have to prepare a lunch and a snack for the workers. Obviously, we want them to be well nutritioned and whatnot. So for a lot of these seniors, it's the first time they've cooked for an extended group of people since their kids were living at home.
Yeah.
And so it's a great opportunity for them to do the things that they used to do. And they do have great lasting friendships. And to your earlier point, a lot of those volunteers ask to go back to the same place each year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. They really got along well with the senior. The senior got to know them. And mental health is big. And on that note, you probably know that we fund the Family Counseling Center's distress line. And particularly since the pandemic started, their phone calls have more than doubled, almost tripled, from seniors in particular, just feeling alone. And maybe geographically they are alone, but they're feeling alone. They couldn't get out. Maybe they were isolated because they live remotely in the country. So we've been able to increase our funding over the years to that distress line to help that piece of it as well.
Yeah. Well, and to, I guess the extended story to all this as well is, even though COVID is over, sort of like we're back in person, I guess is the best way to say it. It's not really over. We're now seeing some of the after effects of what COVID has caused, not just on the physical, but again, back to the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
Like you said, the numbers have increased to the phone center and family counseling. And I know other counseling services and support groups that you support and fund, their needs have improved. So that takes more money than maybe to what you guys had to do in the past. Is that right?
You're absolutely right. And the second part of that mental illness, of course, is addictions and substance abuse and whatnot, which we're seeing the aftermath there. We're involved in a partnership with Bluewater Health to run the addictions workshop in early September, which is one of the strategies we've got. But you're right, increasing funding is required. Poverty is affecting all of us. You can imagine how it's affecting young families with limited income or seniors with limited or no income, but it's also affecting our agencies. Take, for example, Lambton Elderly Outreach is one of two agencies that provide Meals on Wheels, subsidized Meals on Wheels, and subsidized transportation services, taking seniors from their homes, wherever they may be in Sarnia or Lambton County, to medical appointments, doctor's appointments, life labs, grocery stores, and so on. Your viewers might be interested to know that last year, the Lambton Elderly Outreach alone did 617,000 kilometers in trips. So you can imagine what their fuel bill is today compared to just 2 years ago. And to your point, there's more needs now for those services than there were back then.
And gas prices are just going to go up, folks.
I think so.
The way it is. I think I've mentioned it to you before. December 1st, we will see an increase because the Ontario government froze some of the taxes to give some relief
Right.
That's over December 1st. So that's probably going this way. I mean, prices go up, they don't go down typically, on anything from bottled water to gasoline and everything else, and food and transportation, all that stuff. So
you can imagine all the agencies that provide food, for example, our school breakfast and nutrition program,
right.
Meals on Wheels, all those costs have gone up as well. So to your earlier point, absolutely, it's really important that we reach that goal or that needs target of $1,650,000.
How many organizations and services is United Way currently supporting?
Right now, we fund 17 local agencies that provide over 30 programs and services.
Wow, that's amazing. And we like to reiterate the point that it's not just Sarnia, it's Lambton County that you're covering. And there's a lot of the rural side of things that are further away that maybe you and I take for granted to, like I could walk down the street to a grocery store, right? But out in the rural areas, that's where the transportation side really is a much needed asset.
That's right. Even within the city, we've got what they call food deserts, where there's just not affordable, nutritious food that's close by. And, we're glad that we've got the Good Shepherd, which is one of our partners. We fund one or two programs with them. They've got their mobile markets that helps out with those areas.
Oh, yes, right.
But for those that do live more remotely, you're right. We've got the transportation program through Lambton Elderly Outreach and through the Red Cross, although Red Cross is more Sarnia-based, but they do some runs outside the city. And, of course, Leo is fundamental to a lot of communities very remotely from the Sarnia area.
Yeah. How are you on target for the needs target?
Right now, we're just beginning week 5 of 15 weeks, so we're approaching the 1/3 mark time-wise. And I'm pleased to say right now we're at 36%, so we're a little further ahead with the money than we are with the time, which works out to $594,000. So we're just past a third of the way. Still a long ways to go. We've had a number of campaigns that have kicked off in the last week or so. So we're hoping to see that momentum carry us forward.
And if you follow this journey with myself and Dave Brown, you know that most of their fundraisers include food.
In one way or another.
And that's why I have a Planet Fitness membership. Meats for Eats raffle. Talk about this.
Well, Pembina is another one of our partners. They held a very successful golf tournament for us earlier in the fall. And now what they're doing is their annual Meats for Eats raffle. Whereby winners first you can purchase tickets for $10 each, and you can get them through our website, which is on the screen now, or any Pembina employee. And the grand prize is a $1,000 gift card from Davy Jones, plus a $500 prepaid visa. So it's an awesome prize. This is, I think, their 4th or 5th year they've done it. It's been very successful. So I would encourage anybody who likes meat, which is, I think, everybody except maybe 2 people that I know. This is a great deal for them to get involved in and support. And, of course, Pembina itself, their employee campaign is off and running. They've got some very successful and very generous employees who donate through payroll deduction. And Pembina will match all those donations dollar for dollar. So they're, like so many in industry here in Sarnia-Lambton, are great partners of United Way.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that works there, and even the employees, at least I know him, they're very proud to. They talk about it, and they were involved with the Good Shepherd's construction,
right?
And they're very proud to support and give back into the community. Like I say, not just the company, but the employees as well. So I got to give my friend Colin a call and buy some tickets from him.
Excellent.
What a great idea to Meats for Eats. I just love the name of the fundraiser itself, right? So
and you can see October 28th is the draw date. So you have to get your tickets purchased before the 28th.
Right.
And hopefully you'll get a phone call from myself or from somebody from Pembina.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Moving forward, there's so Meats for Eats. Any other current fundraising activity coming up, or
Well, right now we're focusing on a lot of the industry and their events. For example, Imperial has a trivia contest tomorrow night and a grab and go lunch on Thursday. Others are planning kickoff barbecues and whatnot. We had a submarine lunch at Star Revolution last week, which is great. But the next public event that's available to everybody in the community would be our annual frozen dinner takeout with our partners, the Dante Club.
Oh, right. And that's usually pretty successful.
It has been successful. And of course, people can order tickets or order meals off of our website once we get all the details. But I can let your viewers in on a bit of a secret. We're going to have some new items this year. We're looking at a frozen rigatoni, large and small, as well as frozen cabbage rolls. Okay. So you can take them, you pick them up, they're frozen, and then you can just literally heat them up. When you've got friends and family coming over at any time, including right up until Christmas. We have the lasagna, which is always very popular. And we introduced meat pies last year, so we're going to do the beef and chicken meat pies.
Do they do meatballs?
I think they may be in the rigatoni.
Oh, okay, right. Because I've had their meatballs there before. Oh,
yeah.
But
that's now that's
get the rigatoni then.
So we're still negotiating price, and we're still negotiating what's all included. But I'll let them know that Dave Burrows said that the meatballs are a must in rigatoni.
Careful where you name drop me, buddy. They might go, really? That guy? Who does he think he is? Yeah, well, that's great that you're able to do that. And again, another community partner that's willing to help out and give back into the community by supporting the United Way. You've got some team members. You got a new team member there you want to give a shout out to?
We do. I'm really excited. I think viewers will know that Rebecca Brander had been with us for 5 or 6 years. She has gone off to different challenges, and I'm really excited to announce that Holly Milholland will be, in fact, today's her first day. So a lot of your viewers will recognize the name and will certainly see her when they see her, or know her when they see her. She does a lot of the Sting promotions at the Sarnia Sting Games, and will continue to do that in that role. So it's exciting for her to keep doing what she loves to do, but also come in and work for us. And she's had a long history with us. You know, Shell Canada used to have a sons and daughters program whereby sons and daughters from employees will work for United Way at some of our agencies. Holly did that back about 10 or 12 years ago, and she did all of her high school volunteer hours with us. So in many ways, it's kind of a homecoming for Holly.
Nice.
So excited to have her on. And today I felt like I talked all morning, just talking about some of the fun things that we're doing and campaign updates.
She brings a lot of energy to a room, and I met her parents a few weeks ago at a Sting game. I'm pretty sure is where I saw her, or no, maybe it was at Brownstones. Anyway, I met them out somewhere and just made sure they knew what a great young lady they have there. And you're definitely she's going to keep you busy, I'm sure.
That's perfect. And you're right. She comes from great stock. I know Doreen and John very well too, and big community supporters.
Nice. Well, Dave, it's always a pleasure. And because you're here, that means you and I are, as always, overdue for our own one-on-one meet and greet. So let's try to get to that this week, or if not next week for sure. Always last chance. Anything you want to throw out there before I let you go back to your day?
Just that, we've still got a long ways to go, although we're off to a great start. We still have a long ways to go. So I would encourage any of your viewers to come to the website or call our office and make your contributions. We've got a lot of letters going out, or if your workplace is doing a United Way campaign, either old school with pen and paper pledge cards or their own personalized online link, please know that your contributions are being used right here in Sarnia-Lambton.
Awesome. Dave Brown from United Way of Sarnia-Lambton. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Always enjoy my time talking with my friend Dave Brown, and it usually means that him and I are getting together soon for some beverages and burgers to chat. Really enjoy time with Dave Brown, and you can support the United Way. If you want to, just give them a call or send them an email. And if you want to find out how you can support them financially or in other ways, there's the information on the screen for all of that. Dave Brown, thanks so much, and thanks to you and all your team, and congratulations to Holly Milholland for being a new member of the team out there as well. You're lucky to have her on board, and I'm lucky to have all of you for coming here and watching every week. I really do appreciate your time. Do me a huge favor. click the like button. That's wonderful. But please click the share button. The share button is the most important button you can click on Facebook or YouTube so that others can learn about the guests that I have here on the show. If it just stays in one spot, there's not much point to it. So if you want to do your part, it's a free way to support the show. Click that. Do it right now. There it is. Click. There you go. Share that around. And as always, thanks to all of you for coming by and saying hello. I really do appreciate it. But that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye.